Humans have spanned the globe for over 200,000 years. From our origins in Africa, we spread from continent to continent, establishing the first tribes, then eventually cities and countries. Even though we all came from the same place, each person has a unique family history. Each person has a story about who they are and where they came from. This is mine. My name is Jacob Row, and I was born on July 10th, 2001. My parents are Mike and Genevieve Row. We live on Mallot Pl in Granada Hills. We have 2 dogs named Duke and Daisy. My dad's side of the family originates from Russia. The reason they came to America was a push rather than a pull. My family was Jewish in a time when Jews were being murdered freely in the streets. My great-great-grandparents escaped Russia and fled to America. The first stop of the way to freedom was in Ellis Island. After a while, they eventually made it through. It was at this point that my great-grandmother's side of the family moved to New York, and my great-grandfather's side of the family moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma. At this point in time, my ancestors on my father's side were split into 2 locations, Oklahoma and New York. They needed a way to come together. My great-great-grandfather on my grandmother's side decided to join the Navy, so the family had to move to Long Beach, California, where he was stationed. 2 whole generations passed before my grandparents were born. My grandfather, living in Tulsa, Oklahoma, decided he wanted to join the Navy, so he also had to move out to Long Beach, California, where he was stationed. It's an amazing thing to think about. I only exist because 2 men decided they wanted to fight for their country in the Navy, and happened to be stationed at the same base in Long Beach, California. My grandparents met at a Navy dance. My grandfather says it was love at first sight. My family has continued to live in California ever since. Moving right along brings us to my mother's side of the family. They come from Jalisco, Mexico. My grandparents tell me stories of the farm life where they grew up. My grandparents were pulled into America, not pushed. My grandpa moved to Los Angeles when he was just 10 years old. He always used to tell me he got bullied because of his Mexican accent. My grandma moved to Los Angeles when she was older and married my grandpa. They are extremely successful in America. They quickly started their own business and began buying and selling property. They now live happily in Las Vegas, Nevada. My dad was born in Long Beach, California in 1970. He weighed 10 pounds and 10 ounces. His parents were ecstatic to have him. He often played baseball and wrestled growing up. His favorite memories are playing baseball and football in the streets with the neighborhood kids and leaving in the morning on his bike and not coming home until it was dark out. My father tells me stories about how he didn't have much money growing up, so he would sell lemons off his tree for $0.10 apiece. He also used to bike around with car cleaning supplies and wash cars for $1.50. He also frequently took glass bottles to the supermarket for 10 cents apiece. He said he would always buy an Orange Crush and candy bar with the money he saved up. My father got his first job when he was 15 as an ice cream scooper at Thrifty drugstore. His mom had to forge his work permit because he was not yet 16. He worked at Thrifty drugstore all through high school and eventually became a check stand cashier by his senior year of high school. After high school, my dad hung drywall for a large company. My dad said he liked hanging drywall, but he knew a kid growing up that was a little bit older than him, and that told him to take the test to become a deputy sheriff. My dad passed the test and background process and became a sworn deputy sheriff by the time he was 20 years old. My mom was born in Santa Monica, California in 1970. She weighed 7 pounds and 6 ounces. Some of her favorite memories from her childhood include riding bikes with friends, taking care of her friends' puppies, and going to Magic Mountain. My mom also loved going on field trips with her school and going to school dances. My mom was even a junior U.S. Customs Explorer at Tom Bradley International Airport. My mom's first job was in my grandfather's business, Jesse's Sportwear. She worked as a seamstress and a wrapper. She said she had to work for long hours in an un-air-conditioned factory. Her next job was at West Stamp Incorporated, an electronics company. There, she soldered computer boards and assembled different computer components. After West Stamp, my mom worked at the Beverly Hills Police Department as a records technician. She now works in Public Works as the chief parking manager for the city of Beverly Hills.
Once I was 7 years old, my mama told me, go make yourself some friends or you'll be lonely. Once I was 7 years old.